We've all been watching Dick Van Dyke most of our lives. If you're Dick Van Dyke's age, 89, you probably remember when he took over the CBS morning show from Walter Cronkite in 1955. And if your TV watching began in the 1960s, you probably saw every black and white episode of the Dick Van Dyke Show, which brought Mary Tyler Moore to a national audience for the first time. And then there are the movies that kids and parents are still watching every day. Mary Poppins, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and of course, Bye Bye Birdie. Dick Van Dyke's new book is called Keep Moving and Other Tips and Truths About Aging, and he joins us now from our Los Angeles studio. Dick, it is great to see you. Thank you for doing this. You know, I was telling people today that it's maybe, 10 years ago. I was driving up to Malibu to meet my friend Cecilia Peck, who had invited me to your beach house for the day with my daughter, who was about 10, and I started to explain to her who Dick Van Dyke is, and she stopped me right away and said, "Oh, come on, Mary Poppins, Bye Bye Birdie."
That's great.
She knew, and when she saw you, she was, of course, thrilled. So you get it from all ages all the time, don't you?
Yes, it's wonderful. I do. Can I thank you on behalf of everybody for being a little island of sanity in all this chaos. We watch you every night.
Oh, great.
It's such a pleasure.
There's amazing things I've discovered in this and your previous book. For example, your time with Martin Luther King. Could you tell the story about how you came to participate in the civil rights movement with Martin Luther King?
He was giving a speech at the Coliseum at UCLA, and who wrote Twilight Zone?
Rod Serling.
Rod Serling wrote the most beautiful, beautiful speech about the subject, and I was chosen to deliver it. I was so pleased. The only thing I'm embarrassed about is that somebody from the Secret Service said there has been a threat on Dr. King's life, and we just wanted you to know. I was sitting next to him like this, a coward.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was obviously a real threat, and as we discovered a few years later, you also tell a story back in that period about in the aftermath of the Watts riot in 1965. You got involved in that community, and there was a night where you invited a family from there who you'd gotten to know to come to your house, and the LAPD had a very strange reaction to that.
Yes, to this day, I don't know exactly what happened. Lenny Eggleston, who had been a Black Panther at the time, we were all going down afterwards. They called us the guilty suburbanites to listen to some of the young black men yell at us. But we did what we could. I befriended Lenny, and he brought his family to my home one night just for dinner. For some reason, I had a call from the police. They said the place was surrounded with armed people. I don't know what happened, and to this day I don't know, but it all turned out fine.
The sweep of history in your life is amazing, and I'm not concentrating on the show business stuff just because I think a lot of people already know a lot of that, but I was fascinated to read about you listening on the radio to the presidential election returns when FDR won and what that felt like.
Oh, well, I think everybody knew that he was going to win. Where are the FDRs and the Moynahans today? We need them. There are too many lightweights around. I voted for Harry Truman, and then I voted for Ike, and I would again.
And was it? What do you think has happened? I mean, you go back to the time when you had to listen to this stuff on the radio. There's to this world now where we have the internet, we have this show, we have cable news, we have all this saturation coverage of politics. It's a very different world now than it was then. Do you think things were better then or better now?
Well, the communication, of course, is much better now. But unfortunately, some of the cable stations are slanted so far as to be almost propaganda politically. So I think you have to listen to everybody, because Ted Turner didn't know what he was starting. He invented 24-hour cable. No, I'm a person who believes that Bernie Sanders did win
the. Oh, good. Let's hear about that. So you watched it all. You thought Bernie won.
Pardon?
You watched the whole debate. You thought Bernie won.
Absolutely. Yes, and I think that Bernie sounded an alarm that's been around for a problem that's been around for about 100 years. He warned us about becoming an oligarchy, and I'm afraid perhaps he's too late.
All right. Well, that settles the question of the night on this show. Who won that debate? Dick Van Dyke says Bernie won it.
I declare.
Dick, thank you very much for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. Great to see you again. The book is Keep Moving and Other Tips and Truths About Aging. Dick Van Dyke gets tonight's last word. Thank you, Dick.
I wanted to show my...
Oh, what is it?
It's a caricature of me.
Oh, perfect. Okay, we're going to get that one up online. Thank you very much, Dick.
You're welcome.
Chris Hayes is up next.